Hi, my name is Katie and I am the driver for the session and I'm here with.
Sibusiso, I'm the navigator of this session.
So today we are going to do chapter 2, 3 and 4. So chapter 2 is creating and using components. So I've got the code and I'm just going to explain. Um, this one, mm, so chapter 2, the components. I'm just waiting for this to load. Okay. Um, so over here we've got the product.jsx. So it imports React over here, and then also it defines the array of the product. So like product contains three book titles, and then we're also using .map over here. That is just for the function to iterate over products and also to create a list item for each book. And then also we are assigning a unique key over here. So React requires a unique key for each list item to prevent the rendering issues. And also we are just returning the JSX component ref with a list inside of a div element in a unordered list. And then also we're just exporting the component, so this just allows the files to import and use the product. And then we've got the app.jsx. So the app just imports the dependencies and it brings in the product from the local file. And then also it defines a helper function format name over here. And it takes the user object and returns the full name. And then also we have a creates a user object and it just contains the first name, the last name, and the image URL, plotting pointing to a random photo. And then also we have the return JSX. The app component just renders a product component inside a div element. So I'm going to tell the server. As we can see, it did pull through. So here are the three book titles: Learning React, Pro React, and Beginning React. So now we are going to move on to chapter 3. So over here in chapter 3, um, here we've got the app.jx. So here we are importing our dependencies and it brings in React ratings and products, and a bootstrap button component. So it defines a Java function, the format name, and that just takes the user object and returns the full name. Although it's not used in a component yet, it could be handy for displaying user details. And then also it creates a boolean variable is valid over here. So this could be used for conditional rendering, though it is not applied in this version, but also we are rendering multiple rating components, so it displays series of 5 ratings in the component, and also each with a different value rating, and obviously we're just exporting. And then also in the rating component over here, so we importing hook um by use state over here, and also it allows the component to track rating changes. And then also we are importing the star icons. um it uses the Lolo star and the Lolo star outline from the React icons. And then also we define a state variable, which is rating over here. um it initializes with the props dot rating value, and it updates with a star that is clicked. And then also we are displaying the current rating with the header 1 rating. I'm sorry, it just shows the current state of the rating. And then also we are just handling and rendering the star clicking, so it renders the false stars or the low star for rating and equal and to greater than to for given values. Otherwise it shows the outline of the star. So let me just start the server. As we can see, here is the rating. Also we can change the ratings as well. And now we are going to move on to chapter 4, which was working with components. So in chapter 4 we have the product. So let me get started. So over here we are importing the necessary dependencies like React, container, row call, and the rating component. And then also we define a functional component product, and it takes a props which contain product detail in props data. And then we are also using bootstrap layout, which organizes the content inside a container with a width of 500 pixels, top margin of 5 pixels. And then also we just display the product image. The image is set to 64 by 64 pixels and source from the props data image URL at the all attribute and uses the product name. And then it also shows the product details, so it renders the product name, release date, and the description. It also includes the rating component and passes each rating and number of reviews to the rating component for display. And it also uses bootstrap grid system, positions the image inside the text by the side within the columns. And also in the other product, the JSX over here. So over here we're just defining the get product. It returns an array of product objects, each containing the detail like an image URL, name, release date, description, rating, and the number of reviews. So it maps over the array running the product. Let me just see something. So we use .map to iterate over the products array, passing each product's data as a prop to the product component, and it assigns a unique key and passes the product as the unique key for each product instance to help React track the rendering. And then also returns the JSX wraps the list of the product components inside a div element and an unordered list. And then obviously we're just exporting product at the end. So when we go to the local host, we can see. So over here we can see here is the image URL, the product, and then the date, and then it's just comments and stars, of course. So that is it for chapter 4. Thank you for watching.